All right, so we start every class off the exact same way. We talk about some goals and objectives of the class, introduce the instructor, find out what you want to learn during the class. I found them. And then we get started. Sound good? Okay. So today it's called the 24 Topics of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So it's this book. Anytime you see a class regarding the book, it's probably always good to bring the book. If you choose to, you can always take your book to Office Depot. They will cut the spine off for you and put a spiral on there. When I did this, it was only $2.50. That was about 10 years ago. Yeah. It might be $3.50 nowadays. I don't know.
I had the shift on that way too.
So what we want to do today is we're going through the 24 topics of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's just like a real brief overview. We're going to cover 4 major models. So these models function in any business, okay? And it's going to be your lead generation. You'll also hear Reedy and I talk about this as business acquisition, where to find business, right? You have your economic model, which talks about how much money do you want to make? What are your conversion rates, right? And then you have a budget model, because we're in business to do what? To make a profit. So we need to know what our budget is. Most real estate agents that I meet with, I call their businesses anorexic, because they don't spend enough in the key areas to drive more business. And then the last one is your organizational model. So we're going to cover 24 topics, but they're all going to be based off of these 4 models, okay? Everybody good with that? When we walk out of here, my key objective is for you to get an overview of these and then want to come to the class on Thursday called Mid-Year Business Planning Clinic, where we actually take these models and use them, and you get to like draw it out yourself so that you can absorb the information. Sound good? What do you want to learn today? Stop.
Well, I was on a team for 4 years, so switching to an independent agent, I'm looking to learn a little bit more of a balanced model in terms of getting a proper idea of what I should be spending and what I should be doing.
Okay, great. And then please come on Thursday as well, because we're going to break these down. We put them into your goals, your priorities, and your strategies. And then we ensure with your 411 that your schedule reflects your goals. Make sense?
Yeah.
How many of you guys listen to Reedy and Read? This language is just repetitive, right? Do you know why it's repetitive?
I keep saying it, so I was thinking.
Because you still don't use it. So you still don't do it, right?
We're very dense.
We're very dense. So getting a good overview for yourself. You know, I love that you said that. And I get questions all the time where I will just open up the book to show the answer. Like, how do I pay a showing assistant? Did you guys know that's in here? Mm-hmm. How do I pay my administrative assistant? That's in here too. How do I pay my transaction coordinator? Who do I hire first? My favorite one is, I'm so swamped. Well, why are you so swamped? I've got all these buyers. Well, how many buyers are you working with? It's always, I've got like 7 or 8 ready.
So we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Sorry. I must be on the.
Yeah, you don't have to be in both. You're here live. Okay.
Okay, got it.
So they'll say, man, I've got like 7 or 8 really hot, ready, willing, and able to go buyers, and I am just beat up. Well, do you know that in this book, it actually says that one individual agent will be hard pressed to work with 6 to 8 buyers at any given time? And so every time I ask the question, well, how many buyers are you working with? Oh, I got like 6 or 7. How many buyers are you working with? I got like 7 or 8. That's like the maximum threshold for a capacity for a realtor. That same realtor though could work with 15 to 25 sellers. Now, in this market, I'm gonna say that's a little different, because if you had 15 sellers, that means you have 150 offers,
Right.
right? So
You gotta get all
like,
those.
you gotta take that into perspective as well. But, you know, it's just, I don't think that this is a cover to cover read. I think this is like a section to section like study, and then it's a guide for your business. Bless you, Miss Kathy. And again, it's all coming.
Maybe 3, who knows?
So thank you for sharing that one. And it's really important that you guys know to share, ask questions, because if you're thinking of something, somebody else in here is also thinking it, and they just might not be brave enough to ask. So thank you. Anybody? There it was. Delayed.
I said there was 3.
Delayed. You know, I love that you guys know to have fun in here. Like everybody's laughing. Like that's what we're supposed to do. You'll absorb more information. What else do you guys want to get out of today? You want me to read the book to you?
I guess in the, well, I don't even know if this would fall in anywhere, in this kind of, in a tough market for, I work with mostly buyers. How do you work most efficiently? Because I feel like I'm running in circles around all of them.
Okay.
I guess that's organizational, yeah.
So we'll put efficient right there by that. So we'll make sure and cover that. Thank you, Debbie. And that's definitely a hot topic right now. How do you categorize them? How do you know who's ready, willing, and able to buy, right? So we'll make sure we go through that and talk about.
All say they are, and they lie.
Well, I'm going to challenge you.
I'm not
Be honest,
asking
you're not questions.
Yeah, that's what I always say. They're not. Are they lying, or are you not asking the right questions or enough questions?
I'm lying to myself, thinking they're all wanting to buy there.
Hey, that's an interesting perspective. I like that. I like that. All right. Anything else that you guys want to get out of today before we jump in? Everybody good? I am going to give you a little heads up. I know that on the calendar it said this class goes from 2 to 4. It will go from 2 until about 3:30 unless I talk too much, 3:40, but I have to be somewhere else at 4 o'clock and I haven't learned to transport yet. All right. If you don't know who I am, my name is Rachel Sartain, now Tenpenny. I used to be Rachel Tenpenny Sartain, switcheroo. Scooby-Doo. I'm actually official with the state now. That's Rachel Sartain Tenpenny, being my maiden name. I've been the managing broker here for about 10 years. Opened this office up about 11 and a half years ago. I was an agent in the community. Had no clue what I was doing when I got started in this leadership role, and most days I still don't think I have a clue of what I'm doing. So if you ever wonder why I read and study so much, that's why I read and study so much. But yeah, I've been teaching these classes for a long time, and if you can tell by the shape of my book, I am absolutely a student of the models because I know they work. They work in any business. So this is just the 24 topics. We're going to cover some key issues. If you have your book, we will reference page numbers so you can go in and like fold them. You may need some tabs. You guys want some tabs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me grab you some little sticky tabs, and that way you can just post your sticky tabs and then go back and reference those. Have them right on my desk. I've got the book.
Let's write down pages.
I put it on my.
Yeah, well, just, younger generations.
Yeah, us younger.
You get yellow. I don't know why.
Absolutely. All of us younger people.
Yeah, well, I'll still take them.
If you don't want them, you don't.
I'll my book's at home, but I promise you, I'll have them.
Oh, yeah, this isn't my book.
Well, whose book is it?
Oh, where's she?
Brooke? She get it free?
Yeah, Brooke, yeah.
Well, just make it your book.
Write down what. Write down
Yeah,
what you want. Put it on.
have you already wrote it? Have you been writing it? Okay, so have you been writing it?
Not in the one at home, I can trade you. We'll fold it up.
It's okay. Hey, give it to another realtor. We're actually going to talk about growing your profit share tree today too. So
It's gonna be relevant.
tab it, give it to another realtor, grow your profit share tree.
Okay, thank you.
I'm inspired.
All right, already, woo, we just got started too. Okay, so this, I'm big on this. If you watch Reading and Read, you've seen me do this. So what this is, Kathy,
Yes, ma'am.
what's the I of the Y4C2Ts?
Integrity,
What's the C? What are the 4 C's?
communication, seek to understand, commitment in all things, creativity, ideas before results, and customer always comes first.
Oh. Does anybody know what our Wi-Fi password is?
Phone number?
Oh, yeah, they changed it. I hate that. Sorry, thank you. It used to always be KWY4C2Ts. That is our culture. That's our belief
So
system.
we changed that. We have an
It's
E
two
in there
T's.
now.
I said E's.
T's.
Yep, I've changed my passwords to include the E. You now know my passwords. The other one's Freddie 5K if you really want to know. Those are just for like things like Pandora. But no, seriously, the reason I asked Kathy to do that is, first of all, if you're ever going on a listing appointment and you have the KWY4C2Ts printed and you share that that's our belief system and that's the culture of our office, it just speaks volumes to what we do. But the C of creativity, ideas before results. So if you're looking at this, it starts with a model on the bottom. That's the foundational piece. So these are your foundational pieces right here of your model. They sit right here. Now, how stable is that other triangle where we start with creativity first? It's not, right?
Very unstable.
It's not stable. So what this says is we first start with a model and then we put ideas on it. If you have an idea and you just run with it without talking to anybody else, then you might be running in the wrong direction. That's not efficient, right? So an idea would be, hey, I'm going to go farm a neighborhood. You've heard that that is something that people do, but you haven't researched the model of what it actually looks like, and you haven't spoken to other people who've had success with it. You're just like, oh, I know, I'm just going to send out postcards. And so you send out 500 postcards one time. You essentially just wasted the money of the 500 postcards if you don't have the model around it. So look at the models, research the models, and then go talk to the other agents that are doing it at a high level. And that's that ideas before creativity. Okay, so that's what this is all about. I don't know where the little clicker went. Is it up there? Nope. And this is also, all of these things I would like to say are my favorite. So I'll just keep saying my favorite, my favorite. It's okay, Brooke, I'll just keep looking. No, that's okay. I'll put it right here beside me. So this references what we call E2P, which is also known as entrepreneurial.
What page is that on? Because it's not over here on this book. Oh, there it is. 39, sorry.
Page 39. Yes, thank you for that, Abby. Thank you for asking the question because I didn't know. So on page 39, it talks about entrepreneurial to purposeful. And what it's doing is this is a ceiling of achievement. All right. And so the way that we break through the ceiling, we have our natural ability. Like this is what I know to do. This is my natural skill set. And as I learn how to do things, I'm talking to other agents, I'm reading the models, I'm getting better, then I can push through my ceiling of achievement. Now, how many of you have taken Ignite in the last 6 months? Okay, so let's walk through that process and the rest of you can remember how it was. So we get started in real estate, right? And we're super excited. We have a new career. We're just unlimited income and flexibility of time, right? Because those two things always go hand in hand, right? So we get started in Ignite. We're super excited. We're charged up about all the potential and the people who've told us they'll probably use us once we get our real estate license. We go in, we get to the class, and we're super excited, and we're getting going, and we're getting going, and we're getting going. And 2 weeks later, nothing's really happening, and maybe I shouldn't go today because I got a little bit of a headache. Relate to anybody? Yeah. Yeah, I really need to stay home and work on my website. Or my vendor list or whatever. I don't have my business cards yet. and I can't send out my note cards until I get my business cards in. Now I got some smiles. Now we're resonating, right? I can't do an open house because I don't know how to create the flyer, whatever it is. So we go down and we're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go out and talk to people anyways. And hey, look, I met somebody in the elevator and they want to buy $1 million house. They never called me though. I might need to update my resume. This is just the emotional roller coaster that we go on. I don't care at what level you're at. But then something happens and blah, 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 and that roller coaster. And then right before you break through, see this breakthrough on page 39 has like this explosion. It doesn't really happen like that. This right here is what I call, and for those of you who cannot see that because it is small, it's called frustration. When you're frustrated, just know it. That is right before you break through a ceiling of achievement. Hallelujah. That will give you such a different perspective on the breakthrough, on that frustration piece. Just know that frustration is just right before you break through. Somebody knows about that frustration, huh? Please know, I am not picking on you. I am so proud of you. You're like a success story in my eyes. You ran out, you got a listing. Had no idea really what to do with the paperwork, but didn't care, just got the listing. And there was a lot of frustration, a little bit of breakdown, but more importantly, a push through. And so at the closing day, it was like the biggest, I mean, I honestly have goosebumps right now talking about it because I really do. Because the smile and the relief, the excitement that was on your face from pushing through that frustration to get you to the closing table was phenomenal. I want you guys to recognize when you're frustrated, it's super easy to quit. And if you quit, are you going to break through? No. So as you keep pushing through, you get purposeful. Now we're using models, we're using systems, we're understanding the checklist process, we're taking a listing, that's getting more purposeful. We're understanding the timeframes of the contractor, or we're understanding, how to do X, Y, and Z, and we're using the tool to keep supporting us. That gets us to purposeful. And as soon as we get to purposeful, guess what happens?
That's the floor.
We get another freaking ceiling. And we gotta break through that one. We get another one. We gotta break through that one. We get another one. We gotta break through that one. Anything worth having, guys, is gonna be hard to get to, okay? So that's what this is talking about on page 39. So number one topic of so I love those two things. I think they really go hand in hand with what we're going to talk about all of today. So now we're going to talk about the foundational models. The 3 L's of real estate are not actually location, location, location. What's on the bottom? This is page 40 through 44.
Leads.
Why is that on the bottom?
Without leads, you don't have anything. You don't have a business with no leads.
Without leads, you don't have listings. Without leads, you don't have buyers. Without leads, you don't need a website. Without leads, you don't need vendors. Without leads, you don't need business cards. Right?
Right on.
So leads are the foundation, and your leads should drive you to getting what?
Listings.
Listings. Those who list last. Right? Those who list last. You have to have listings. And then once you have enough leads and you have the listings, you will need leverage. Leverage comes in all different forms, and we're going to talk about what those forms are today. Now, Jay, am I talking about residential listings here? Hal, am I talking about residential listings here? Any listing. Any listing.
Preach it, brother.
Any listing. Commercial listings, residential listings, luxury listings, foreclosure listings. I don't care what they are, just get a listing. All right, to succeed in real estate, you must have clients. Listings are the highest leverage, maximum earning opportunity in the industry, and here's why. Debbie, you got some buyers you're working with.
Yeah.
Give me okay, so let's think of one. What's their name? Give me just first name.
George and Rita.
George and Rita. How long have you been working with George and Rita?
Oh, about 3 years.
Oh, jeez. Wait. Okay.
However,
However, we need to, yeah.
No. So I've been working with George and Rita for 3 years. How many properties have you shown them?
Oh, okay, 12 to 15.
12 to 15. Okay. And how many days have you gone out with them to do that?
Like good 20 days. Honestly, I know I said 12 to 15, but we've done,
Drive-bys and tours and
yes.
all that good stuff. Okay. So about 20 hours. How many offers have you written for them?
One.
One. Is it under contract yet?
No.
Okay. So when do you expect to go under contract with them?
As soon as we get their condo under contract, and then the world changes and things become available for them.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at that scenario. Who's got a listing in here? All right, Kathy's got a listing. One that you already have signed and under contract. Just think about Velvet Cloak. Okay. So how did you get the listing?
I have a relationship with someone who lives in there that happens to know people that will do.
So you got a
So,
referral.
Got a referral.
So
from another
you went and met with them. Did you get the listing agreement signed when you met with them?
I did,
And how long did that appointment take?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right. And so then you put it in the MLS. How long, how many hours did you spend on it from the time that you met with them to the time it went in the MLS?
Maybe 2 hours, could have had to meet the photographer.
Okay. And then after you put in MLS, did it go under contract?
Yes,
How long did it take to go under contract?
about 3 minutes.
About 3 minutes. Okay. And then you're not working the contract. You have a transaction coordinator that works the
That's correct.
contract, right?
That's
So
right.
total, how many hours did you put in there?
Less than 5, by 3 to 5.
All right. And you're already getting paid. And poor Debbie, who's on
On her team. Thank
is
you.
on Kathy's team, by the way. Sorry. It wasn't purposeful. 20 hours hasn't got paid yet. 5 hours in is getting paid. Now you see why one is a more efficient use of your time. Watch out, Debbie's gonna be taking listings soon.
Yeah, well, we're working on that.
I got a couple, yeah.
We're working on that.
So we just work smarter via people, systems, and tools. I always tell this story of systems. And Brooke was on a call yesterday when we were looking at systems. I've reintroduced systems to the team, and it was cute. I had the systems index. So I think it was 2013 or 2012. I don't remember which one. I was awarded the Black Belt Recruiter Award, which is this like coveted Keller Williams Realty Award that just a very few team leaders get every year. There are like 800 plus team leaders in the company. And that means I recruited a net 60 agents. So we grew the office by 60 agents in 1 year period.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
That's
Except
quite an accomplishment.
the
And
next.
you need to be applauded for that.
Okay.
A great accomplishment.
So the next year, the wheels fell off the bus.
Hmm.
It kind of feels like the wheels are falling off the bus right now, right? And what I mean by that is there's been a lot of change. Because you know that Michael and I actually started COVID. Often it feels the blame feels like we should have, but no, we didn't start COVID. But no, because of all the change that's happened in our world, in our environment, it feels like sometimes the wheels have fallen off the bus. So in 2013, Georgia Alpazar, our regional director, and Kevin Chadwick, our owner, kept saying to me, Rachel, you need systems, you need systems, you need systems, you need systems. Now, in case you guys don't know, I have a master's degree from the University of Florida in invasive plant species of Florida's wetlands. Not business management. You're totally relevant, right? The name of the division was actually called Weed Science. The building, the sign on the building was stolen at least 5 times in the time frame that I was there. But in all seriousness, I had no idea what they were talking about. Like, what is a system? And so I did some research, and there's a checklist manifesto. That might be a book you would like. Have I told you about that one before? Checklist manifesto. I had somebody else read it and they thought it was the most boring book they'd ever read, but nobody liked 4 Disciplines of Execution either. These are the books I was reading and studying to learn about systems. Guys, a system is nothing more than a documented checklist. Now, if all of us had USB ports in our head, life would be so much easier, but we don't. So no one knows what you know. So you have to document that process. When you document the process of a pre-listing appointment, the listing appointment, the marketing plan, the buyer consultation, the contract, when you document that process and you follow it systematically every single time, the level of customer service that you give just increased tenfold. And the reason is because you didn't forget anything. So there's a story in a book, E-Myth, stands for Entrepreneurial Myth. For any of you guys, I highly recommend it. It's one of the easiest reads you'll ever read. But he talks about going to a barber, and he walks in and he was kindly greeted at the front door. They asked him if he would like a glass of wine, cup of coffee, water. He took a glass of wine, got a good haircut. Then they put this really warm towel on his neck to kind of like relaxing as he was sitting there. He loved the experience. So he goes back. Next time, different girl at the front, sits him down in the chair, and then remembers, oh, would you like any coffee or water? No wine. And got his hair cut, and the towel was lukewarm. Third time he goes in, there wasn't even anybody at the front. The barber comes up, grabs him, sits him down in the chair, didn't offer him coffee or water, and there was no towel involved. He said the second time after the second time, he was just going to give them a try. Maybe they just slipped up. Somebody was sick or something. After the third time, he said he wasn't going to go back. That is nothing more than a documented process. This is how we greet customers. For those of you who remember Marlene created our greeting for us. It has since fallen to the wayside. It's a great day at Keller Williams. This is Marlene. How may I help you? Right? Like she answered it's documented. This is the phone greeting. But it sounds silly, but those are the things, if you expect to leverage and grow, you have to have those processes in place. All right. So what we did was we took everything that we do, from walking the office and turning the lights on, walking the office and turning the lights off, and everything in between. And we documented it. Just simple checklist. Who's responsible for what? And it's called the Systems Index. Is it pretty massive? It's pretty massive, right? So, and we had a career night. You can open it up. It says 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 10 days. I think the day of and the day after. Who's responsible for what? Now we all know. So that's what a system is. I'm sorry, that's kind of a long detail, but because I was ignorant to it, I'm going to assume that not everybody knows how to create systems. It's nothing more than a documented checklist. And then tools. Tools are, what are we using? Is that a paper listing presentation, a buyer consultation? Is it a contract to close checklist? Is it a system on your computer? I don't know, but those are the tools. What other tools do you use in your business?
Use a dialer.
Use a dialer, your phone, absolutely. Command. Who said that? Was good. Yeah, you're just winning brownie points. Anybody use Google Calendar?
Yes.
That's a tool.
Yeah.
So your phone is a tool. All of those are just tools. Pencil that you write with, it's a tool. All right, so then we take that triangle with the leads, and the book is broken down into how do I think like $1 million agent? How do I earn $1 million? Earning is not netting. How do I net $1 million? And how do I receive $1 million? My real estate boyfriend, Ben Kinney, put on top of there, give.
Correct.
How do I give? How do I think like I'm giving $1 million? I'm receiving enough that I can give $1 million. These slides are obviously old. How can you tell that they're old? Yeah, the logo. There are 6 myth understandings in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. They start on page 61. The first myth is having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing. The truth is having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. And we even take that a little further on Reedy and Red. A lot of us have ideas. They're not goals until you put them on paper. All right. So all 6 myth understandings are right there on page 61. So we're talking about think. So think like a millionaire. Here are your ways of thinking. This is going to be on page 71. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger for those of you who don't have a book. Oh, nope. Does anybody want to borrow mine? It might fall apart. No. Okay. So think like a millionaire is think powered by a big why. We're going to dig into that one a little bit. By big goals and big models. I was in a mastermind in one of our other offices a couple months ago. And we have from the One Thing book, there are the 7 circles. Have you guys seen the 7 circles? So it's spiritual, health, personal relationships, key relationships, personal, job, business, financial. And so on my financial, I had put a number in there. And then I heard somebody else's number on their financial, and I was like, well, dang it, I'm not thinking big enough. So I fortunately did my 7 circles in pencil and went back and erased it. Because you got to be able to think big if you're going to hit big goals. Think possibility, action without fear. There's I don't know who sings it. It's like my favorite running song. I kept repeating it this morning. Face everything and rise. I mean, it's a fast pace. It's like on my hip hop workout Pandora station. But face everything and rise. What if fear meant that? Face everything and rise. Where does fear show up in your world? I was like, who's going to be brave enough to tell me? Specifically.
Spending money.
Oh. Can I share the story about the $1 million customer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Debbie, you closed somebody that, what was the purchase price? $3 million. Yeah. And so when she was doing her business goals for 2021, she was assuming that was an anomaly.
Okay. Yes. Indeed.
Her mindset wasn't around, well, every year I'll just close more $1 million customers. That was an anomaly. So there's a fear of I'm not going to have that again. Now, when we take that away, we can come up with solution of how can we create that again. Right? So who else had a, Mustafa, you had one?
Talking to sellers, I've always worked as a buyer's agent. So anytime I'm on the phone with the seller, I'm 100% sure if I have the skills required to make a close.
Okay, and what causes you to have that fear?
I think I have a lot of confidence and experience with buyers. And so as time kind of progressed, my lack of really working with sellers kind of further pushed me to dive deeper into working with buyers. And I've almost put myself into like a deep trench where I got this great expertise working with buyers, but as soon as I get a seller on the phone, I'm almost unsure of what do I even say to this person. I don't want a listing sign.
Script practice, baby, script practice.
Not solution.
That's the solution.
Not solution
I
time.
started my life.
Question asking time.
I know, but
Does this fear prevent you from doing the activity?
It was for a while, and then with frustration, I started scripting with my wife every night, and then today started calling sellers and things like that. It's been the start of it's only 2 weeks, but yeah.
Okay, well, good. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And what he also shared, if you guys didn't pick up on it, is he shared his process to walk through the fear instead of being paralyzed by it. So good job. Thank you for sharing that. So thinking without fear is a lot easier to say than do. 2 words I would recommend that you take out of your vocabulary. I know. What is it? So when I say I know, what am I doing?
Minimizing.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Minimizing.
Minimizing? What did you say, Debbie?
Well, I mean, it's just sort of humoring you saying, yeah, we know, but we're bypassing it.
Like
We're
dismissing it.
dismissing.
Yeah. It's minimizing it. It's humoring somebody, but ultimately, I'm just dismissing it. Yeah, I know. I should be calling sellers. I know. I should be getting more leads. I know. I should be door knocking. But just take it out of your vocabulary. Okay? I know. I should be taking it out of my vocabulary. I know. Just dismiss that. Sweep it right under the rug. Trip on it later. Think progress. So just like your story, it was figuring out the steps to take. And sometimes they're slow, but that's okay. It's progress, right? Think competitively and strategically. Being competitive is not a negative thing. The number one person that you should be competitive with is me. No, I'm just joking. It's with yourself. Compete with yourself. Where is your bar? Can you increase it? I've got team leaders across the region that will text me, great job on your numbers last month. I don't even know what my number, I sure don't know what their numbers were. I'm just doing my job at the highest level, right? I'm not taking the time to see what they did. Number one. Because I'm not paying, if you're running a race and you're looking behind you, is it gonna slow you down?
Yep.
Yeah. Think standards. Know your standards. We're going to talk about how to do that, and then think service. I'm going to share with you some tips on that. Guys, this is a process I haven't figured out how to do yet. I think it's ever evolving. I don't think it actually can be concrete. That's just my own perspective. Some people have theirs nailed down, and kudos to you. But it's like, why am I doing this? And I'm going to caution you. Sometimes we find ourselves being fulfilled by work. Okay? That's not what makes you important. Work doesn't make you important. You need to figure out what does make you important, but it's typically not work. So this is all outlined in the book. The page number is hidden there, so I don't know what page. 77. So make sure you go through it and read. Gary Keller says, I want to be the best I can be. Can he ever be the best he can be? No. So that gives him something to constantly strive for. Why does he want to be the best he can be? See, at one point, my big why was to create this platform that when Audrey, my daughter, was ready to launch, that it was as high as I could possibly get it. And then when she was about 15, I started thinking, I was like, well, damn, when she gets there, what am I going to do? Right? Like, if I've been thinking this way, well, she's going to get to a point and I won't have purpose. And it was when she was 18 and she moved out, it was definitely something, she's back home, but, but it was definitely something that I went through. And it was the onset of COVID. And I was at home. It was like, what is my purpose? Right? So you have to be careful what you identify as well. Now I realize she's back home. She's 18. And she's still allowing me to keep raising that platform for her. So, but that's still, I can't call that my big why. I don't know what mine is. It's a long process to get to. Your value proposition. So
The very best real estate agents are able to translate the reason people should hire them to provide the specific set of services. We call this your value proposition. I got a challenge for you. Everybody write this down. I want you to go home, and it's gonna take a while, and I want you to write your story. Who am I? Who is Rachel? Who is Kathy? Who are you? Because I promise you, who you are now is the foundation of who you're going to be. Who are you? And don't write popular words. I'm honest, trustworthy, and I provide great customer service. That's trash can talk. Every realtor out there uses those same words. What is great customer service? What is important to you about customer service? I mean, because what is integrity? What's integrity, Kathy?
Always, always, always do the right thing.
Always do the right thing. Jay, what do you think integrity is?
Be honest, reliable, do what you said you're gonna do.
Okay. Bunny, what do you think integrity is?
Always telling the truth and standing by it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you three for sharing. Did those three definitions sound the same to you guys? They didn't use the same words, did they? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So when you say integrity, define what that means to you and why is it important to you. Tell your life story. You're not sharing it with anybody. I just want it to come out of you. Then you can go back through, circle the words that keep showing up. You'll find your unique value proposition doing it that way. Also, how many of you guys have a logo? Okay. So a logo is not your brand. Do you know what your brand is? You, right. And if you don't know who you are, do you know what your brand is? I promise I'm doing this same activity myself. Okay. All right. Topic 6 is the 80-20 rule. 80% of our results comes from 20% of our actions. So that's where we have to set priority. We have what is the number one priority every day? Lead generate. Generate business.
Lead generate every day.
Now, I was having a conversation with a top agent a little earlier today, and they said they don't have time to lead generate because they've got all these referrals that are just like calling them, coming in. They just got to follow up with them. I'm like, well, I haven't lead generate. I barely lead generate. I lead follow up. So if you're okay, call it the same thing. I don't care. Still generating business, right?
Yeah.
And guess where the fortune is?
And the follow-up.
In the follow-up, but that has to be the priority. The home inspection does not get scheduled over the leads. Meeting the appraiser, the photographer does not get scheduled over that time commitment. It's not a time block. It is a commitment. Any questions? All right, you sure? It's hard to do, isn't it?
Oh, but I've got to be there.
It's hard to do. So here, who was in the Ignite class I taught? You were there. The Ignite class I taught. Yeah, you guys were there. So you get a buyer and they call you and they want to see a property and they want to see it tomorrow morning at 9:30. Do you know what you say?
I'm not available until 3 p.m.
You're not available until 3 p.m.?
I have appointments until 3 p.m.
I'm sorry, I'm already booked at that time. I can do it at 1 or would 3 work better for you? So remember that was my same script, the schedule and the appointment. Is today at 4, tomorrow at 5 better for you? Same thing. Yes, I would love to meet you at the property, Mr. Appraiser. I'm not available tomorrow at 10 a.m., but I could meet you there at 11:30 or would 3 work better?
It's okay, guys. Oh, Mr. Home Inspection, you guys want to schedule the home inspection? Awesome. I can do it on Wednesday at 2 or Thursday at 3:30. Which one works better for you? Try it.
I just had somebody call me and want to see a property tomorrow, and I'm already scheduled. I said, I'm so sorry, I'm already scheduled for that time, but could we do it? And I used the same script, and it was another agent. She goes, oh, you're already scheduled. I said, absolutely.
Shut up. I gotta get my nails done. I'm sorry, I already have an appointment at that time,
That's right.
right?
Schedule those hair and nail appointments. Oh,
All right, so the 20% leads, listings, and leverage. So we start with leads. It's on page 99. Listings, the main virtues of seller listings, page 102. And our leverage, who's going to do it? How are they going to do it? And what will they do? What will they do it with? I had an agent who was doing like pop buys to her past customers, and she has a team, but she felt like she had to do all the pop buys. And she was running out of time. Why don't you have your team do some of them? Can I do that? Yeah, that's called leverage. I just cut her time in a third, right? She has 3 people on her team. She does a third, they do a third, somebody else does a third. Leverage. How many, Bunny, you're a mentor, right? Anybody else a mentor? Like,
My mentee.
can you?
Tell them how good I am.
You know what? I can tell she's the best because I don't know if anybody else is a mentor in here, but your mentor told you to be here. So kudos. Have you ever put a listing in the MLS?
Yes, just recently.
Just recently? Okay, have you been to an appraisal?
Right.
Have you been to a home inspection?
Yes.
Have you been to a closing?
Right.
Have you met a photographer at a listing yet?
Yes.
Okay, so see, thank you. All of those are areas where you can, if you're a mentor, you can have your mentee do those things. Have them put that listing in the MLS.
Ask her how many showings she's done.
How many showings have you done for it?
There's no number for that.
No, but seriously, I tell people all the time, go find one of the new agents and ask them to put the listing in the MLS for you. They don't want to do that. Yeah, they do, because they don't know how to do it. That's called experience. Right?
I'm available, guys.
You're available, yes. Okay, so we got think, now we gotta talk about earn. So knowing your numbers, there's 2 sets of numbers. There are goal numbers and actual numbers. What's your goal and what's your actual? Anybody know my favorite tool I like to use? Bless you, Paul. You gonna do 2 more? 411, 411, 411. 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. So every week I can look at what my goal was and what my actual was. I can score myself. How did I do? It determines on what I put the next week. What is my goal? What is my actual? What's the result I'm getting from the activity? Keep my finger on the pulse of my business. So do you know your numbers? So we used to call this, I gotta get up here, Michelle. Looking for one. I love to draw, if you guys didn't know that. Crazy. So the numbers I look at are just a little different than the numbers there. But what it's gonna do is you gotta track your conversion rate. So whatever numbers you guys wanna track, you can track. I can just tell you what I've seen the most useful. I call it attempts, contacts, appointments, offers, sorry, the board's still wet, contracts, and closings. So I look at 6. There are 8 on there, or 8 categories of the MREA. So an attempt was I called, they didn't answer. I knocked, they didn't answer. I sent a Facebook message, they didn't respond. I sent a text message, they didn't respond, right? So I had 100 attempts.
The normal conversion rate is 50%. I got 50 contacts. What's the point of the contact?
Make an appointment.
You guys need to get that like deep rooted into your brain. The only purpose for the contact is to schedule an appointment in lead generation. Okay? You should be about 12.5 appointments from 50 contacts.
Contacts.
From your contacts, you should get about 12.5 out of 50.
Should we write those numbers down?
You can. You're gonna have to track your own.
What if 100%?
If you can make 50 contacts and schedule 50 appointments, then please don't make 50 contacts. You'll be too busy.
That I stopped.
Okay, good.
But-
You know, I
I
had,
just think they're not the right contacts.
and that's why this, I call this the 6 conversations. And so if you had 50 contacts and scheduled 50 appointments and then wrote 0 offers.
Yeah.
Then we would have a conversation about this. Who are you calling? What are you saying? And what type of appointments are you going on? But now also remember when I was teaching you guys in Ignite, I said I wanted you to get in the habit of asking for an appointment and going on an appointment. Once you learn to do that, then you could tweak it. It's time to tweak. See, keep your finger on the pulse. It's time to tweak.
But may I make a statement about that? You're not wasting your time.
No.
You're building relationships.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did that feeling, had that frustration and thought.
But that's okay. We learn and we keep growing,
Right.
right? So you got in the habit of asking for the appointment and going on the appointment. You built relationships. Now we're not gonna trash it. We're gonna tweak it. We're gonna tweak it. So out of those 12 and a half appointments, let's say you're writing 3 to 4 offers, 3 contracts, 2 closings. That's like your national normal average in a if there's ever a normal market conversion rate. I don't know what yours is. You gotta figure it out. If you knock on 100 doors for an open house and none of the neighbors show up, we gotta have a conversation about it. What were you saying? What time of day did you knock? How many people answered? What did they say to you? You just keep your finger on the pulse of it, okay? Recognize the science of success. Stay faithful to the MREA. We're going to talk about these 4 models. Lesson from Warren Buffett. This is actually on page 127 in the book. He says that he had started investing and stopped until he went back and read his professor's book 12 times. I don't remember the professor's name now. Do you think I've read mine 12 times?
Well, at least.
I haven't read it cover to cover 12 times. I can guarantee you that. So we're gonna first look at the economic model. The 3 keys are focus on the numbers you must hit, focus on the appointments, and on the conversion rates. That's why you have to know your conversion rates, and everybody's is gonna be a little different. Also, going back to the model and the creativity, the model is lead generation. That does not mean cold calling. I can't tell you how many times people just connect those 2 things in their brain. Lead gen equals cold calling. It doesn't. Lead generation is finding business. It could be walking the streets. Did you guys know I'm a street walker? Some of you do. My first broker, I asked him, what am I supposed to do? He said, I don't know. Why don't you just grab some business cards and go walk the streets? So I did. I went into every business and met every business owner. Okay. It might be open houses, Facebook messengers. You know, that's how Becky McConnell grew her business. It's 5 direct messages every day. That was her lead generation. A lot of people watched people like Becky and Jennifer Thayer. Now, you guys, just so you know, in the last 12 months, Jennifer Thayer has closed $97 million in real estate. Yes, yes, Jay, just 97 million.
As a single agent.
as a single freaking agent, no team. Now, she's a chicken with her head cut off,
Yes.
right? Does she lead generate?
No.
She does.
Yes, you better believe she does. No, honey, she does not just lead receive. That girl is out there connecting with everybody. So never for one moment look at these top agents and think that they're not lead generating. They're just not sitting in the office making phone calls the way that you were taught in Ignite to get in the habit of it. All right? 97 million the first 4 months of the year. So we post the top-down report. First 4 months of the year, it was over $1 million in GCI. So
I just, if you don't mind sharing, as I was going through the first couple of years, I was thinking like you were just saying that lead gen was 9/11, you had to sit in a chair and call, or whatever. And then we were in some class and you finally said to me, W, lead generation, as well as Stephanie, my mentor, said, does not have to be sitting in your office in your chair calling people you don't know. You can go network, you could go do, those are all lead generation. So that was a breakthrough for me because then I was like, that's what I'm better at. I feel I'm better in person. I feel I'm better in networking. And
I'm just gonna say though, I hear this I'm better in person thing. I've heard it for a long time, and then we had this thing called COVID.
right, I mean,
So I always say, well, great, if you're great in person, make a phone call and schedule an appointment to get face to face.
right, we can Zoom, we can do whatever, but it just, like you said, it's not stereotypical, sit down in the office here and do this, it's find what you're good at and make it work for you.
And I appreciate you saying that, and it is so true. Whatever it is that you figure out works best for you, do it habitually. You are self-employed. So if you're the boss looking at the employee, are they doing their job or should they be fired? I know how I work best. I work best sitting in my office 9 to 11. There's my database up. My fingers are typing as I'm not talking. That's how I work best. Everybody's a little different. So this is going to go into a big thing. Now, for any of you that want this, I have it in a spreadsheet. I created a Google spreadsheet for it. And we're going to go into this in detail on Thursday. So somebody tell me their goal for 2021.
Number goal, that's income goal or sales volume, well, I just wasn't sure we were talking about big Ys.
I'm just asking what your goal is. You tell me.
Sell some houses.
Sell some.
How many houses?
Or and to become a listing agent.
Okay, so what would define you as a listing agent? Let's get clarity around it. Because until then, it's an idea, it's not actually a goal, right? So as a goal,
Make enough money to take care of my family.
okay?
That translates into a minimum of $60,000 a year if we want to eat SpaghettiOs and, just get by. And then 100,000 if we want to have where things get taken care of.
Debbie just shared with you her financial thermostat.
Yes, it did.
They can get by at 60,000. You gotta be tied to more. So never have a range. Never, ever have a range. I want to get 4 or 5 listings by the end of the year. And I always ask you, do you want to get 4 or do you want to get 5? I want to make $60,000 to $70,000. Do you want to make 60 or do you want to make 70? Never have a range. It needs to be smart. It needs specific, measurable action with the results and the time. A lot of people put the R as realistic. I always say realistic is defined by the action steps you're willing to take.
People say, well, is that a realistic goal for this year? I don't know. Are you willing to do the work? If you're willing to do the work, yeah, you can hit the goal. It's all up to you. I want to make $750,000 this year. Is that realistic? I don't know. Are you willing to do the work? Other people have done it. Right? So specific, it has to be measurable. Guys, this is why I have this big issue with on or before on the, as far as closing date. It's not a specific date. It's multiple days, right? If you haven't heard me get on my soapbox about that, it's multiple days. Do you want to earn 60,000, 61, 62, 63, 60? Which one do you want? It's hard to hit a moving target. Be specific. What are the action steps that you have to take in order to make it happen? What's the result you're shooting for, and in what time frame? So this is called the economic model. This is we go through this in detail on Thursday that you're looking at in this one. I want all of you guys to have a net income goal. I used to not tell people that. I'm like, I don't care what your goal is. Is it gross? Is it units? Is it profit? You guys name it. Why are you in business?
Net money, your net.
Yeah.
Profit.
Yeah, you really are in business to net money to feed your family, right? And not SpaghettiOs. I mean, the last thing that we want to do is cut out Debbie's iced teas.
You do not want to do that.
No, she would let her kids skip a meal
I would.
before she skipped her iced tea.
Do not get this way. You don't want to see.
We don't want to see that happen. So we need to know it's not just about making money, it's about netting the money, because the net is what you get to take home with you. I want every single one of you to have a net profit goal from your business. Net. And I'll show you how much your expenses are in just a second. All of this is in the book. And then it's going to talk about the lead generation model. So if we have a net income goal, let's just say everybody's, I'm gonna make 6 figures. All right, have $100,000. Guess how much your expenses are gonna be?
50%.
Yeah, it's gonna be somewhere between 50 and 40%, 40 and 50%. But I'm just gonna say 40%.
And you gotta pay your taxes.
Well, but hold on. This is your personal
Right, okay.
that you pay your taxes on. This is business. Okay? So this is your $140,000 gross commission income. What's your average commission? Okay,
7,000.
7,000? Okay, well. Oh, trash can. Bunny, ooh, Nicole, you better move. You better move.
Great. Hope you're good.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. All right. So I can do math. Let's say the average commission is 10,000 per closing. How many closings do I have to have?
14.
Ideally, it should be a 50-50 business, 7 from listings and 7 from buyers. What do I gotta do? Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Okay, great question. Great question. No, it is. Thank you for asking it. It usually comes up. So for every listing that you take, you should be able to find 2 buyers. It creates an even business that can sustain the ups and downs of any market. Okay. It also helps you make sure your systems and processes are in order. So if you've created a business that's focused on closing 14 buyers, and now you want to take listings
Are your processes and systems in order? No, so it creates a level business, okay? And then let's say that you're running a team. Your team, the whole team should be even too, 50-50. Yeah. So the lead agent should be bringing in the listings and the buyer's agent should be having the buyer closings. So if it's a team that's doing 100 transactions, lead listing agent should be bringing in 50. They probably have 2 to 3 buyer's agents getting the 50. If you're not getting the buyers from your listings, you need to reevaluate the activities that you're doing in order to get more buyers from your listings. What? Yes.
Aren't there normally more buyers though? I mean, so wouldn't I normally have?
There are not normally anything in real estate. Yeah, right now, there's feels like there's 3 times the number of buyers. Well, there are 4 times the number of buyers that there are sellers. But that changes. Okay. So it just helps you create a stable business with this focus. So this is how we jump down into here. This is our economics of it. And then it goes into our lead generation. So what lead generation activities do we need to do to close 7 listings and 7 buyers? Simple? We'll go in detail on Thursday, I promise. I'm just, see, this is kind of like a teaser class for Thursday. So then the 3 key areas for lead generation are going to be prospecting and marketing, setting up a database and feeding it. If you don't do anything, please do that. It's your brain. It is your brain. A database is not somebody's name, phone number, and email address. It's their kids' names, the last conversation you had with them, where they're living, what they're doing, when their birthday is. It's everything. Okay? That's and we call it a data bank.
Absolutely.
It's a data bank. It's not just a contact list. And then systematically market to that database. Become number 1 in their mind market share. And we're going to talk about how to do that as well and what's important to you about it. So the way that we become number 1 in somebody's mind market share, and this is on page 146 and page I think it's like 143 or 44. It talks about how to become number 1 in somebody's mind market share. There was a study done and it asked, it went around. It's so funny. I was listening to this branding company talk the other day, and they referenced the same philosophy or psychology, is that one person can only name, they max out like between 7 and 8 of any brand category. So if I asked you to name as many brands of shoes that you could, and you did it by yourself, not a class participation, you would max out somewhere between like 6 and 8, or and name as many brands of potato chips or cars or phone numbers.
I read a thing, one of them was phone numbers. I was like, I can't even remember my own.
Yeah, I think that study must have been old.
Yeah.
Yeah. 615-893-4351. That's my grandmother's phone number. She no longer has it, but that's my grandmother's phone number. 615-390-0932, my mom.
If you were in a car fire and you had to call one person, could you come up with that?
225-8847.
Mine would be 911, but.
Sorry, side note. Do you know, I was listening that kids don't know to call 911 nowadays.
Yes.
They actually started teaching children to call 911. Audrey was followed home a couple weeks ago, about 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, wow. What's she doing on the 2 o'clock?
What's she doing at 2:00 in the morning? Right. She's 18. And the guy, she tried pulling into her parking spot from the house, and he actually like pulled in, got out of his car and tried to open the door.
Oh my God.
She calls me. I'm asleep. Then she calls her best friend. I'm like, honey, why didn't you call 911? I didn't know if it was important. Oh.
Holy crap.
So what happened? Now you gotta tell us what happened.
No, I haven't. I don't know. I called Kathy. Kathy, did your ring pick up anything? Audrey went and knocked on everybody's door to see if their ring picked up anything. No, oh, Kathy lives
The ring-
across the street from me in case the few of you that
The ring didn't pick anything up. We were hoping we could get the tag number from the truck, but we couldn't.
He obviously went away.
He went away and I'm sorry, I'm gonna give you guys too much information. I would love to turn off the Zoom right now, but
Tell her to keep like maze and stuff on.
I think she'd probably spray herself.
we
Audrey's smarter than
she is, she's very intelligent,
Doesn't
very
have
confident.
anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I would do the same.
If they don't know how to use it or they haven't practiced using it, just like I don't know to call 911. So being from Tennessee and just my thought process, we don't usually lock our doors. Because I get scared once I start locking my doors. It evokes the opposite to me. You don't have anything in my house worth stealing. And if you want to take anything out of my house, you just go right. I'm joking. So here's the funny.
Dress on the Zoom.
So here's the funny. Here's the funny. So after this happens, I said, Audrey, you have to stop or start locking the door. She said, Mom, I do. I lock it every time I come home. No, silly, when you leave. Sorry.
It's on Facebook.
It shouldn't be. No, I said no. Maybe we don't have any participants. Oh, shoot.
Oh, no.
Alright. Why are you guys not in here is what I wanna know.
Yeah.
Like Frank, Bill, Angela, I know you all are capable of walking. Okay, yeah, you guys had some good comments, but, all right, maybe they're not paying, maybe you have me muted right now, sorry. If I can tell you guys, they're fine now, but it was, sorry, I went way off target, but I hope I entertained you. Okay, so, the thing was, the 8x8 is, how many of one category you can remember, you max out around 7 or 8. And then the National Association of Realtors has been tracking statistics for a very long time, and it always comes up the exact same. It doesn't matter the year. It's been at least 20 years, and it shows that 86.5% of all buyers and sellers will pick the first or second realtor that pops into their head. So if you're number 3, you have a very low chance of getting that customer. Okay? And just to kind of confirm what they're saying, Jack Welch, when he took over GE, he looked at all the products and all the product categories that GE was producing. And he said if the product is at number 1 or number 2 in its product category, we're cutting the product. Because it's not top of mind. So the way that you become top of mind is what, going back to that 7 or 8 brands, is what refers to as an 8x8 touch of the book, page 146. It's touching somebody 8 times over 8 weeks consecutively. You become top of mind. The first realtor that they think of, you want them to think of you. The way that you stay top of mind is the 33 touch. So once you get there, stay there. That's where a 33 touch comes in. 33 touches, 1 phone call per quarter. There's your 4 touches. You know how many holidays there are? A ton. You can have 1 a month. There's 12.
And there's a system for touching this,
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a system.
for touching your database.
There's a system here. There are smart plans. There are like 5,500 smart plans, 5,500. 5,400 of them were created by other realtors. Okay, so if I call them once a quarter, and then I send them a holiday card once a month, a birthday card. What else I got?
Valentine's Day,
That's
Mother's
holiday.
Day, Father's Day.
Those are holidays.
Anniversary.
Pop buys once a quarter?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and you said anniversaries?
Like buying and selling.
Okay, there's one. So what we got here? We got 8, 9, 10, we got 22. Oh, let's send them an email newsletter once a month.
Oh.
I'm at 34. We just went over, or, yeah, 22, 34.
Client events.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's just how you do it. Okay? So a monthly newsletter, a monthly note card, a call once a quarter. You guys can decide how you do it, but you have to, 33 touches over a 12-month period, just now.
When do the neighborhood market reports go out to our email contacts?
I don't know.
Well,
I try really hard not to know that stuff. Do you know why? So they never go ask me questions. I don't know how to use DocuSign either. But
just thinking that like if it went out on the 5th, I'd target
hey,
newsletter.
I don't know that answer, but our tech trainers do, and it's on the calendar. So go out. They'll just, reach out to them. Ask in the closed Facebook pages too. And then you have the 12 direct as well. So you can do an 8x8, get them on 33 touch, and a 12 direct is going to be focused on these ratios have been recalculated. Yes, sir.
Kind of a general question, I guess, but in terms of cost, like what would I keep in mind? Because this is something I'm actively working on. It's the.
I want to get to it.
Okay.
Let me get to it. I'm gonna put it right here. And you know where it's gonna fall?
I'm gonna guess the organized. Oh.
Okay. So these numbers have changed. So let's say you want to do 14 transactions. You know how many people you have to have in your database that you've touched 33 times over the last 12 months? Don't blow your socks off. I like the way you think, but just add a 0.
114.
They're gonna buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody who's buying a home or selling a home, and they're gonna send you a referral. And so every 1 out of 10. But you have to touch them consecutively 33 times over the previous 12 months in order to get that rate of return. And if you don't have a database and you don't have a system, what's the likelihood of that happening? 0. Okay? Like agents ask me all the time when they come in and interview, what's your commission structure? I don't know why it matters. 0% of 0 is 0. Right?
That's true.
I always say, next interview you go on, ask them, how are you going to help me make money? Because really, isn't that what you were asking? All right. 4 laws of lead generation. Build a database, feed it, communicate to it, and service it. Database, feed it, communicate, service it. It is your brain. It is your money bank. Your database is the most important thing you have in this business. It is the only thing that you have that has any value. That's true. I know you have value, but I can't sell you. You can sell your database. Do you know how realtors retire?
Selling their database.
Or they die. Feet first in an open house. That's Michael Reedy's. Yes, ma'am.
Do Facebook posts count if they engage with it?
Do you want it to count?
Well, only if it makes any money.
Okay. You check it.
Got it.
This book was researched in 2001 and published in 2003. It's not going to talk about Facebook. And I'm not going to tell you what counts and what doesn't count. And guys, stop going on social media and just liking things. You need a comment with at least 4 words.
And Voting.
And an emoji.
Yeah.
What? It's true. It's research study. You have to comment with minimum of 4 words and put an emoji. If you want to help boost somebody up, you comment on their post.
Just saw that too.
Mhm.
Another thing that.
The banana emoji, I think, is one that's the most popular for algorithms right now.
I just, text is also, you can do our, command, Twilio, we can send text, messages, and that has been very successful for us yesterday.
Okay, so let's get to this budget model. How much money should I be spending? How do I know that you gotta have 4 words and an emoji and that the banana emoji is the most popular one to the algorithms right now?
Research it.
I am constantly learning. Right? I listen to about 4 podcasts every morning and read. So if you don't have time to do that in the mornings, what's my suggestion to you?
Get up earlier.
Thank you.
5 a.m.
Do you know why I get up early?
So you can
To have time
run.
to yourself, child.
I don't know. I was born that way.
What time do you get up?
5:30. But I really was born that way. I when I was in college, high school, if I had to study, I'd go to bed early so I could get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and study. My brain doesn't function at night, so don't call me at night. Yeah, you can call me at night. I'm just
Mine
joking.
doesn't function either.
Now, really, as a kid, I'd get up at 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings to watch Kung Fu Theater. I loved watching their mouth go like all crazy and the words. It was just fascinating to me. All right, how much money should I spend on my 33 touch and my 8x8 and my 12 direct and sending my note cards and my postcards? And how much should I spend on my dialer?
10%.
Take the air out of my balloon, right? Page 157 of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It says 152 there, but the chart's on page 157. It's the most used page in my book.
Which page?
157. It's the most used page in my book. It's about to fall out. Lead generation is 10% across the board. It doesn't matter what your gross commission income is, 10%. This is the category I find that agents are starving their business. So, what's your goal of commission income this next 12 months? What did you do this last 12 months? Let's say that it was your first year in real estate and you only made $40,000. $80,000. What's your budget for your lead generation? $8,000. That's not hard math. Now we gotta say, how am I gonna spread that out over a 12-month period? Well, emails are free. Facebook messengers are free. You're already paying for your phone. Your business cards actually fall in here.
Postcards.
I'm gonna put note cards.
Coffee.
Coffee, that's actually a separate category.
Email.
Huh?
Email.
Anything you send in the mail. Networking events. I talked about this morning, and I'm not saying anything negative about online leads, but I'm going to ask right now, how many of you have more buyers than you know what to do with right now? So why would you buy more? You might not be right now, but some people still are, right? The leads that you're getting online are all buyer leads. And you have a database, I hope, full of ready, willing, and able buyers. So just if you want to know the cost of how much you should spend on these things, it's simple. It was whatever your gross commission income was last year at 10%. And then you take the year, you lay it out over a 12-month period. You identify what you're spending money on now, and then that whatever's left is the amount that you can be creative with. Too often, if somebody has an $8,000 budget, pinching those pennies and they're spending like $2,500 a year and wondering why their business isn't growing, because you didn't invest back into it. Okay. This red light, green light, guys, if you're not using your 411 as your red light, green light scoreboard, tracking your goal versus your actual, I mean, don't send note cards just for the sake of sending note cards. You put on your 411, 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, okay? You send the note card. Guess what you do here? You follow up. You call them. Hey, I just want to make sure you got the card I sent you. Guess what? We already talked about this. There's a holiday in every single month. You can send a note card. St. Patrick's Day, you send $1 scratch off. You call the next week. Say, hey, did you win any money? Super easy. And then we got Millionaire. We're talking about cost of sale. So guys, the cost of sale in your case is going to be your cap. Okay, if you have a team, the commission you're paying them is cost of sale. Now remember, I said if you have a team, the commission you're paying them is your cost of sale. They're not giving you a piece of their commission, you're giving them a piece of your commission. It is your money back. Everybody say hi to Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
I only did that to her because I know she hates it. I'm sorry. It's like this, it's a friendship that we have.
I love your outfit.
Thank you. You look very pretty. Welcome back to Pinellas. It is hot outside, I can tell. Your body is like 10 degrees warmer than it should be. So that's what your cost of sale is. Then your operating expenses are going to be roughly 30%, and those are all labeled out in the second part of there. The big two categories are going to be your salaries and lead generation. So if you need to know how much you should be paying your administrative assistant, it's right there. So your salaries are labeled out with your percentages. Now look over here, well, for those of you who have the book, so it's showing that somebody who's doing 26.7 million in sales volume, 800,000 GCI, the salaries are 12.5%, which is about $100,000. You're not paying one person $100,000. That level of business requires two people, depending on the average sales price. Again, this book was written in 2001. The average sales price that's quoted in here is $200,000. Average sales price in Pinellas County last month was $484,000. So the number of units that you do is going to be completely different. You might not need a full-time transaction coordinator on your team to close 60 transactions, but you might need one to close 120. And those are all these things that are a little bit variable. That's an exercise. And so now we move into the organizational model, talking about your budget, talking about salaries. Who is the first person you hire? Transaction coordinator. Who's the second person you hire?
Showing assistant or buyer's agent.
And assistant. I just listened to this great podcast. It was actually Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, one of the Ferries. And I don't know if they are Keller Williams or not. They speak like they're Keller Williams, but they did. Yeah. So they did what every single busy realtor does. I'm so busy, I'm going to go find another agent to bring onto my team. So now you have two really busy people getting nothing done. I'm going to pay somebody $15 an hour so I can go make $150 an hour. That's an administrative assistant. It's like there, and so if you ever want to know what an administrative assistant does, this is another thing that's so hard for people to understand. They do everything that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing so that you could go out and find more business. Okay?
They're doing your pre-listing, they're finding your phone numbers, they're updating your database, they're sending your birthday cards and your note cards, and they're planning your client events, and they're managing your transactions, and they're getting your listings put in, and they're doing the customer service aspect, and they can call the client and give them the follow-up and the feedback, and they can do everything that you shouldn't be doing so that you can go find more business.
Is this something you accumulate over time?
Ask me what you mean, I'm sorry. What do you mean by that?
To get a transaction coordinator and an admin assistant, that's something you do over time when you're like making those numbers?
It's a great question, and just depends. Some people will hire a transaction coordinator on their first transaction because they just don't want to deal with it. And some people will want to get the experience of it and not hire one until they have like 5 contracts working at one time and they can't handle the workload. So it just depends on where you are. Okay? Transaction coordinator is actually the first piece of leverage that's not, they just say hire full-time admin. Profit sharing plan, how to build a financial incentive program, excuse me. The best way to increase your profit share, guys, is go to the growth committee and be nice, right? Be an ambassador of the tools and the models. How many of you use Command and love it?
Oh, well, use Command and love it, those are
Uh-huh.
two different.
No?
That's two.
Guess what? If you use it and love it, then you're an ambassador of the company. See, I know that there's not another company out there that teaches you how to run a profitable business. There's not another. If there is, please tell me. I'm unaware of it.
Sure, Bruno.
But really, I don't know of another business out there that teaches you how to run a profitable business. They might have great branding and marketing, and they'll put you in the newspaper. I don't, they'll even give you money nowadays. But do they teach you how to run a profitable business? And so when you really capture that in your soul, you become an ambassador for the company. When somebody says, wow, you've done a great job with your business in the last 12 months, what have you been doing? Oh, I've just been working my ass off. No, I've been using the systems and tools of Keller Williams. And they'll say, what? Now you opened up dialogue. Don't vomit information on them. They'll want to know more, and you can show them, I went to this mid-year business planning workshop, and we took my commission income that I wanted to earn, and we actually broke it down so that I know how many leads I need and the activities I need to do each week in order to hit that transaction number so that I can earn the income that I want to earn so that I can take my family so my family doesn't have to eat SpaghettiOs and I still get my iced tea.
Yes, thank you.
Be an ambassador. All right, I'm running out of time. Next, implement the models, leads, listings, leverage, money, and you. 7 steps to organize your business. I don't remember what. So this is going to be talking about taking that economic model and breaking it down with your goals, priorities, and strategies and putting it in a 411. Last picture. You got mindset, skills, habits, schedule, goals, and in the middle are the results. Whatever your result is, it goes in there. Did you hit your goal? If you did not hit your goal, you have to say, did I have the right mindset? Did I have the skills I needed to hit my goal? Do I have the right habits? Does my schedule reflect my goal? If I went and looked at your schedule, would it tell me what your goals are? Scary question for some. Counterbalance in your life, go read the one thing. I reference it with those 7 circles. Sorry. Okay, I'm just skipping through quick, sorry. Thank you. Tell me one thing that you learned. or more than one.
For me specifically, the numbers stuff in the graph I've referenced but many times, but was unaware of 10% for regen.
Yeah, that's just such an easy way to go back and then kind of reverse engineer what you should be spending and keep it in check. And then you lay it out, it helps you plan it.
Yeah.
Anybody else learn anything? Get anything out of space? Oh, go ahead, Carrie.
Track your numbers and keep your finger on it.
Yeah, at least weekly. At least weekly, because that gives you a little bit of time instead of daily for tracking. Yeah, I love that. Anybody else?
Net money is too.
Net money is take home home. Still gotta pay the IRS.
Still gotta pay it too, yes, but
Yeah.
don't even think about gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that really is the focus of your business, so might as well put it there.
I have an account for taxes.
Yeah, Kathy, don't tell us your tax strategy, because we don't all agree with them. No presentation costs. No.
I'm
Mm-mm.
not supposed to go in there, I set up an account and I put money in the tax account and I don't touch it. There we go, that's what I did.
Oh, okay.
No, you gotta have the money when the tax man comes knocking.
All right, well, I hope you guys learned something today. I so appreciate you being here and having fun with me. And now I'm off to next.
Yes.
Yes, Thursday now is at the Gulf Beaches office.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Kat.